Wildlife conservationists in Myanmar celebrated after obtaining the first video footage of a critically endangered species of monkey. The Myanmar snub-nosed monkey was first discovered in 2010, albeit in tiny numbers, in a remote mountainous corner of the country. However, until now, they had never been caught on film. But illegal logging by neighboring China, as well as a demand for monkey bones, is threatening the monkey survival. British-based conservation group Fauna and Flora International, FFI, said.
We really captured a very large group, approximately 40 animals, and so it shows that rather than just being a few individuals alive, there is still a healthy population, so we still have a future possibility to conserve this very rare species that is only found in these remote mountains on the border between Myanmar and China.
FFI's Asia Director Frank Momberg said, in addition to Chinese illegal logging, the recent armed conflicts in the remote border area were scaring the monkeys in the Himalayan mountain ranges.
These are very steep mountain slopes. You see amazing erosion on the hills, landslides, the whole forest being destroyed by this illegal logging operation, and the future of this Myanmar snub-nosed monkey is highly endangered. So we really need to appeal to the Chinese authority to follow international law and stop these illegal timber operations inside Myanmar territory.
FFI said it hoped that progress in peace negotiations in Kachin State, site of an insurgency, and the establishment of the Imau Bum National Park there will help save the endangered creatures. Thai Army donates a large batch of medical supplies to a hospital in Cambodian border village in a goodwill gesture to the neighboring country. Officers from a border military unit and administrative officials in Aranya Pratet province visited the village in Cambodia's Bante Menche province recently. Colonel Pichit Mikunsut, who led the Thai delegation, said the Royal Thai Army wished to strengthen relationship with Cambodian troops and provide assistance for the hospital in Cambodia's rural village. The donation items included electric fans, beds, pillows, mattresses, and other medical supplies, as well as cash donation. The Army hoped to improve the livelihood and medical service for Cambodian people in the border village. The village was for decades a part of military stronghold of the Khmer Rouge. The area still lags behind in infrastructure development. The hospital had no beds. Patients have to sleep on mats. Recently, authorities in the southern province of Phang organized the 5th Shell and Seafood Festival at the Klong Kian Fishing Games 2014. The administrative organization of Klong Kian Sub-District organized the Shell and Seafood Festival at the fishing port of Ban Klong Kian Village in Klong Kian Sub-District of Takua Tung District to promote environmental conservation, the sustainable exploitation of natural resources, ecotourism, processed seafood, and local cultures and lifestyles. The event consisted of a variety of activities, including a cooking contest covering local and international foods made from shells and seafood, an exhibition on local lifestyles, and stage performances showing the cultures, arts, and lifestyles of people in Klong Kian Sub-District. More student organizations are collaborating in ground-up initiatives to create a cleaner and greener environment. This comes on the back of government efforts to empower youths to create a sustainable community. Some 500 students and staff of Nanyang Technological University are taking part in Green Fest Envisage. It aims to raise awareness of environmental issues and get more to take up environmentally friendly measures. Participants will better understand green activities such as recycling and nature guiding. The event is organized by environmental club EarthLink NTU in collaboration with student organizations, companies, and research institutions. The project, Ditch the Disposable, will push for the student activities to reduce the use of disposables in their events, such as cutlery, containers, and cups.
The project Ditch the Disposable will push for the student activities to reduce the use of disposable in their event, such as cutlery, container, and cups. We would like to eventually push this round to all other student activities as well, with the key idea to green ourselves before we can green others.
A longer-term challenge is
Accelerating non-performing loans, or NPLs, and creating a concrete framework to promote public-private partnership, PPP, are the two main recommendations Asian Development Bank, ADB, experts made at a press conference in Hanoi this morning. Also at the event, ADB put forth their growth forecast for Vietnam this year at 5.6% and 5.8% for next year. With the US and EU economies recovering, Vietnam's GDP growth this year is expected to be posted at 5.6% and inflation around 6.2% this year. One of the issues covered in the ADB report was the financial sector reforms. Although Vietnam Asset Management Company, or VAMC, has been established for almost a year to solve non-performing loan issue, more still needs to be done in terms of bad debt management. Here, Tomoyuki Kimura, who is country director of the Asian Development Bank Vietnam, tells more.
The bad debt transferred to VAMC needs to be recovered. So that is the most important part of this NPL resolution process. So we really have to continue to see how this new VAMC mechanism will contribute to fundamental resolution of NPL problems.
The ADB said, besides NPLs, other challenges facing Vietnam's economy include prioritizing high-impact public investments, speeding up SOE acquisition, and improving infrastructure. A PPP framework might help solve some parts of those issues in the long run, and it should be established fairly to all investors.
We need to be mindful that the PPP right now cannot be a panacea, cannot be a perfect solution to address a shortage of fund for infrastructure development, because still the legal framework needs to be improved, and there are lots of things for the government to do to attract the more private sector investment. So right now they can't simply rely on PPP to fill the huge financing gap for infrastructure development.
Dominic Meller, country economist, Asian Development Bank, Vietnam, further explains.
Investors will not just come in and bid unless they can clearly calculate and cost out what is the risk of this joint public-private partnership. And also at the same time, the actual bidding process itself is very important. And that is what the government is trying to do now. The government is trying to ensure that under the new PPP law, all future bidding processes, or the majority of them, will be operated in a competitive way so that the bid will go to the company in the best position to deliver the project.
Besides PPP model, ADB experts also called for more information disclosure of NPLs and SOEs together with better oversight from state agencies to clearly address those issues. Retailers in Malaysia are urged to start preparing now for the implementation of the Goods and Services Tax, GST, to avoid last-minute chaos and business disruption. Announced by Prime Minister Najib Razak during the tabling of the Budget 2014 last year, the single tax GST, which replaces the existing sales and service tax, will come into force on April 1st, 2015 at the rate of 6%. GST at a rate of 6% is among the lowest among the ASEAN countries. Malaysian Retailer Chains Association (MRCA) President Nelson Kwok said retailers are bound to face challenges and teething problems in the early adoption stage of the exercise. At a briefing on the impact of GST on retail businesses in Subang, Selangor, Nelson said retailers may need more than 6 months to prepare for the implementation, from staff training, inventory classification, to software implementation time frame. As such, they should start now. The systems need to be in place to lower the risk of errors in tax declaration and reduce compliance costs due to penalty. The implementation of a proper processing system goes beyond simplistic understanding of GST, especially for medium to big-size retailers. A special committee has been established to monitor the overall implementation of the GST and to ensure that Malaysians understand the new taxation system. With the implementation of the GST, Malaysia can remain competitive in the global markets. The goods and services tax is currently implemented in more than 160 countries, including less developed ones, at rates of between 5 to 27%. All countries in ASEAN have implemented the GST except Brunei, Myanmar, and Malaysia. Many essential items such as rice, sugar, salt, flour, and cooking oil are excluded from the GST. A new attraction beckons at Legoland Malaysia. Called the Legends of Chima Fantasy Cluster, it was recently unveiled in the theme park's Miniland. Newly appointed Legoland Malaysia General Manager Mark Gurman said the Chima Miniland is part of the resort's ongoing commitment to enhancing the guest experience, which already includes more than 70 interactive rides, slides, shows, and attractions. The Chima Fantasy World includes 7 hands-on interactive elements and animation effects. It features waterfalls, a chi ball that changes color, and also a special tunnel and dome that allow children to get a closer look at their favorite characters made entirely of Lego bricks. The Miniland cluster arrived in Malaysia after a successful display in Denmark, and it was about less than a year after the launch of the Lego Legends of Chima 4D movie. The movie tells the story of animal warriors tribes competing in epic battles for Chi, a mystical energy source of limitless power and destruction. While watching the 4D movie, the audience gets to experience the special effects of water, wind, and smoke during the sensory adventure. The Lego Legends of Chima product range was launched in 2013 and quickly became some of best-selling toys around the world. Enumerators recently fanned out across Myanmar for a census that has been widely criticized for stoking religious and ethnic tensions after the government denied members of a long-persecuted Muslim minority the right to identify themselves as Rohingya. And administrators in some parts of the country, including rebel-controlled areas in Kachin and Wa State, said they were barring census takers because they worry the count will be used for political purposes. Myanmar only recently emerged from a half-century of military rule and self-imposed isolation. No one knows how many people live in the predominantly Buddhist nation. The most accepted estimate, around 60 million, is based on extrapolations from the last count in 1983 that experts say was hugely flawed, leaving out many religions and ethnic minorities. The enumerators, most of them school teachers, wearing white blouses, green traditional lounge, and khaki-colored waistcoats, started going door to door. They hope to reach 12 million households by the time they finish their job. Dawkin Shui Thain, house owner, says she understands why they are doing census, to develop the country and for new development projects, and she welcomes it.